was the first day of my life. I swear I was born right in the doorway. I went out in the rain, suddenly everything changed. They're spreading blankets on the beach.
Well, I like to sing a lot, and I also write a lot. I guess those would be my two main hobbies.
So technology was all, I don't know why, but when I was, young, first out of school, whatever, the first technology that I was into was listening to music.
I feel like the only reason people think I'm cool is because I can sing.
That's not true.
And then I ended up going into television and being a television producer. And then the web came along and I ended up being a web producer. And now here, and I started at Georgia College in IT. It became my career.
And I wondered if I could come home.
Probably, I think it's more risky to make a decision too quickly, because, I guess it depends on the situation mainly, but in most situations, if you're just just going right off the top of your head, just to begin with, it's kind of hard to think about anything that could possibly go wrong in that situation.
But there's always times that I regret, sitting and waiting around to be perfectly sure about things.
More risky to make it too quickly. Even though I am more of a quick person to answer something, I think it's better if you can think it out and consider your options on different things. Too quick, sometimes you can regret.
So if you wanna be with me, if these things there's no telling, we'll just...
I do not think so.
I am not married, and I have never been married, no.
That's good to know, okay.
I would like to get married. I have no idea when that will happen. Hopefully it's not probably within the next 5 or 6 years.
So, are you married?
Yes, for 47 years.
Wait, let me pan in. Say hello. Hello. Okay.
I was 17, 4 days of being 18, so actually my mother had to sign consent forms for me.
Simply, the way I was raised and my beliefs, I don't think that you should live with the person that you plan to marry beforehand.
I do, because you learn so much about people when you get to live with them. You get to know their messy side and all of their flaws and stuff. It's better to figure that out before.
I would have never done that back then. You didn't consider that as an option.
I am gay, so I was not allowed to get married. I had a 15-year committed relationship that ended last year.
So,
and I would have called it a marriage. And in fact, we had a commitment ceremony in a Baptist church.
Yeah, because when you get married, that is a commitment. And you make it in front of God that you're going to spend your lives together. And you have to work out the bad as well as the good.
I ran a dating service, too. I did. I ran an online dating service from 1999 to 2001. Gay dating, online dating service. And I thought you had to teach gay people how to date. Ooh. But I did. I thought because we didn't, gay people don't necessarily have, I don't know who, but the sort of the practice and the structure.
I remember the time you drove all night just to meet me.
I think I would definitely be more cautious.
A lot of times I volunteer for stuff, and I probably shouldn't volunteer as much as I do, but yeah, that's just part of me. I've always done that. If you can help somebody, you should help somebody. So
I think it's been refined, but it hasn't fundamentally changed. And I think that now I can also trust it more. But I honestly remember somewhere around 30-ish choosing to let my mind go wherever it wants to go and go ride the mind as opposed to hold it back and think things through more. So I kind of think I made a conscious decision to be more responsive. And I don't like that called impulsive.
There's when you're younger, you're more impulsive. I'm 20 years old and I'm out to get the world, or I can do anything I want to, which I think part of that's great.
Swear I was born right in the doorway. I went out in the rain, suddenly everything changed.
I was really not thinking about anything back then. I didn't know anything about life back then, just knew about like going to school and going home, and
Yeah.
now I just know there's so much more to life, I guess.
Yeah.
Good and bad.
So I'm definitely more realistic. I wouldn't say I'm more pessimistic or optimistic in either situation.
I think you mature. You become a little more, see things in a different light. You realize you're growing older, and you just see things differently than you did when you were younger.
Yes, outlook. Why am I more positive? Because I have all that experience, and all that experience adds up to more of an understanding of the dynamic of how things happen and more of an acceptance of. Also, sort of the living more in the present than always in the future. How am I going to be? Am I going to be a success? Should I go, so some of those things leave and are, it is easier. And optimist, I've always been a kooky optimist because I've always had a belief in and an enthusiasm about the future and the things I'm doing, and that's been a gift, even in really deep depression and sadness, which is quirky, but because you can get so bogged down by the stuff of am I doing this right and all that kind of stuff. I don't know. I think that I am the person I was in my 20s. And I actually say I was in my late teens, early 20s. And that's why with student workers, I say some of the experiences I learned as a waiter, some of the things, I will share them with you to this day because I learned those things then and I kept them with me. I am who I was then. But now it's easier. I have the experience and all that stuff to trust it. And I am better at living in the moment than living in the future or worrying about the past.
I would definitely say I've gotten a little bit more extroverted, or just a little bit more comfortable with myself. I hope to become more like ambitious and confident and like willing to take risks.
I've definitely become less angry. Honestly, when I was younger, I had some like anger issues and stuff, and I think that some friends and some mentors and just different things in my life have really like helped me get a grasp on that and realize how to handle those better. I hope I continue to grow and just being more patient and kind and things like that.
It's quirky to say that the biggest change is less anger. And less. And the thing about anger, I had young, hard things. We all have young, hard things, and they can, so that I can let that go. Oh my God, that's so good. Still creeps up a moment, time to time, and when it is, it's ugly. And the biggest change I want in the next 10 years is wisdom. So I always thought I was not very smart. How smart are you? So I worked so hard to be so smart and be so smart, and I'm smart. Now what I want is wisdom. What is wisdom? And I think of wisdom as comfortable in my knowledge and not having to show you, and that my mind is curious, and it is a curious mind, which is a great gift to always be interested in stuff.
Win the lottery.
Advice to my younger self.
My mom told me to never let anyone stand in the way of you and your happiness, so I guess that's the best advice.
Yeah.
If you're gonna do something, be the best at it.
If you can have your heart set on doing something, well, if that doesn't work out, life's not over. You can still do something else.
Honestly, I don't think for myself I wouldn't have changed anything. I was happy, got married, had children when we were young. I stayed home, had no car. I stayed home with 2 boys. George worked, and it worked for us. I can't say it works for everybody, but it worked for us. I don't think there's not much of anything I would have changed in.
Well, I say this stuff all the time now anyway. Plan, but let life unfold. And I actually did do it, but I didn't know I did it. You know, I did plan, and I did set out course, and I went with the course of my life, which was, you know, film school, and then make documentaries, and then be a video actor, then go into web, and then be in a university. Great. That was my plan. On the other hand, life unfold. Was I big? Was I Ken Burns and making big documentaries? No, I did small. I went with the flow. Mm-hmm. So my thing is plan and let life unfold. And the other one, the most important one, is trust. I could never trust it would be okay. I don't care what your faith is or but trust. Have some trust that whatever happens, you can handle. A lot of stuff happens. That's what life is. And to not live in fear of it, to not think that I have doubts, I can't do it, what am I gonna, that trust. So I think plan, trust, let life unfold.